What do you wish? That's a really interesting question. Thank you for asking an interesting question. What? Sorry, where's the question? Where'd it go? Oh yeah, there. What do you wish you could have improved on or previously done in your last invite debut? Wow, that's a good one. That's a good one. What do I wish I could have improved on or previously done in my last invite debut? Okay, so in my last invite debut, I played on a team called Black Swan. We got 7th place in invite, and it was a year from October, so that was like 15, 16 months ago. That was the last time I played an invite. And my only goal for the season, I set the bar really, really low because I knew that a lot of teams in invite died and never finished the season. So my goal for the team, I told my team this goal over and over again. I was like, guys, my only goal is to finish the season. I don't care if we lose every single game. I just want to finish. That's all I care about. I just want to finish. Because I'd played an invite before, and the team had died partway through the season, and I just wanted to finish, you know? And we accomplished that goal, and I was very happy, because that was my primary goal. That was my main goal. I just wanted to play a full season, and then at the end of that season, I could either keep playing with the team and, like, continue building on it and, like, recruit new members and then keep growing it. Because what really happens to invite teams is that they die. They like form and then they die, and they form and they die, and every single season they repeat the same cycle. And what happens is it's really hard to build a team like a dynasty, like a Froyotech or like a Ascent, where like the core of your team like stays the same. And because these teams keep dying and rebirthing over and over again, you lose a lot of the chemistry that you built over the course of a full season. Because like the way that invite works and the way that high level competitive games work is that it's like an arms race. Like everyone has the same amount of time to practice. And so if I have 8 weeks of practice that you never had, I have a huge advantage because I basically played a full, like 8 weeks is the length of the season. So I basically played a full season that you didn't play. So I'm going to be so much farther ahead than you because when you first put your team together, yes, you have to learn the maps and you learn the strategies, but there's some really basic shit you have to figure out too. Like, hey guys, what time do we want to scrim? Hey guys, are people going to show up to scrims every single time? Like, this is really basic, but it's also like extremely important, right? Like you need the same 6 people to show up every single night at the same times and be committed to that for a period of 2 to 3 months to keep your team alive. Because like random shit will happen, like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm busy tonight, or my friends wanted me to go hang out, or I have a lot of homework, or my job wanted me to work an extra shift, and people just don't show up. And so like people have to get into a rhythm and they have to like build a schedule and a habit and a lifestyle around competitive TF2. And so like one of the basic things you'll figure out is like who's loyal and dedicated to the cause and who's gonna freaking bail out 3 weeks in. Because that happened to my team. That happens to all kinds of teams. People say at the very start, oh yeah, I'll commit, I'll play every single night. But then when it really comes down to it and you're losing games, or even if you're winning games, and like people get busy or they get bored, they'll just freaking bail out. And like now you're like down a player and now you gotta re-recruit. So like having like a dedicated core that's built together, that you guys already have an established schedule that you like, okay, Monday night is demo review night, and then we're gonna scrim, you know, this Sunday through Thursday, and on these days, on Sunday we're gonna do a map review, and on Wednesday we're gonna scrim a really good team, and on Thursday we're gonna scrim a really easy team to build confidence for our match Thursday night. Whatever it is, like you get into like a rhythm, you get into a schedule, you have a methodology, and then you've like, and there's like team drama too, right? Like you gotta have a team captain, and the team captain has to be good. Like the team captain has to like keep order and keep people happy and like not be an asshole. And then people have to learn how to work with each other. And so like a team that can stay together for even 2 seasons, like if you can just live for 1 season and then into the second season, like let's say me as the medic and my pocket soldier, we have like a good thing going. We got a good relationship. We got a good system. That's a lot less stuff that I have to figure out next season. Because while every other team that's brand new and just formed has to figure out how to work together. We already spent the whole season doing that, and I've got a huge advantage over you because now you have to figure out how to get people to show up to scrims, but I get to figure out which types of mids work best. You have to figure out like your flank scout, flank roamer dynamic, but I already got that shit figured out, and we're already trying to like mess with, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, that's why I say it's an arms race. It's like technology, and then it's like you have a system down. So like staying alive is like so important if you actually want to like progress an invite. You actually have to just stay together. Like not even just an invite, like at any level of TF2. Even at like an open level or an intermediate level, like teams die so frequently. But at lower levels of the game, like an open or an intermediate, you can make up for that by bringing in new talent that's really, really good, that's willing to sandbag. So for example, let's say I want to win open and my team just died. Instead of, like, in Invite, there's nobody better than who you have right now. Invite has the best players in the game. So you can't recruit someone who's better, but in open you can. You can just go, hey, dude who played an intermediate last season, want to play on my team? And he goes, let's see. I get to stomp everybody and make money because I placed top 3 and it's going to be fun? Sure. And so you can just recruit sandbaggers to your team all the time, and so your team will get better despite dying and like not doing anything. But in Invite, if your team dies, like yeah, you can recruit like better players who played on like slightly better teams basically, but like those players are already taken typically. Like you're not going to be able to recruit Blaze on your team because he already plays for Froyotech. So you're already like, your options are extremely limited. So the best way to progress is to just like stick together and like keep progressing together as a team. But it's really, really hard to do that because people don't get paid to play TF2. They burn out. They want to switch games. They're tired, whatever. And like, you really have to stay dedicated to the cause if you're actually going to finish out the full season and then commit to the next one. So that's why you get these like people like who quit and then they come back and they quit and they come back. Like, oh yeah, Yomps quit again. And then like Yomps is back again. Because like, nothing against Yomps. It's just that like, you get burnt out. It just happens, and then you feel like playing again and you come back. And I've felt that multiple times. I've quit and like come back to TF2 many times. So yeah, anyways, that's like a really large rant about Invite. But for me, my main goal was just to like, I wanted to live for a full season, and then I wanted to commit to the second season, because I knew that after we placed 7th, that if we stayed alive for another season, we could maybe place 6th or 5th. And then once you place top 5, you're not that far away from top 4, because top 4 is what gets you into playoffs. And typically the 4th place team is significantly worse than the 3rd place team. Like the skill gaps as you move up through Invite, each additional place is exponentially better than the previous place. Like, first place is usually so much better than second place in skill. And second place is usually so much better than third. Like, third is not even close to first and second. And, like, fourth, don't even get me started on fourth. Fourth is shit compared to, like, third, let alone compared to second and first. So, like just being able to progress from 7th place to, like, 5th place would be, like, a monumental accomplishment in Invite. So, yeah. It's just, like, you have to, like, dedicate yourself to it. And then after I played that season and we finished 7th, I was like, you know what? I can see the grind ahead of me. Like I can visualize how difficult it's going to be to get from where I am today to 4th place. And I realized that like I just don't want to dedicate myself that much. That's what it came down to. Is I just didn't want to dedicate myself to like getting there. That was the first contributing factor. The second contributing factor was that my team was under fire. It was like, it was under attack by itself. Where like, you're playing with your team and we're friends and we're having a good time playing together. But also like, playing an Invite is very stressful because you're losing a lot. You know, like if you're the 7th place team in Invite and there's only 9 teams in Invite and one of those teams has already died, you're basically like the 2nd worst team in Invite. So you're going to lose a lot of games. And I remember that we would lose a lot of games. And we would also like scrim intermediate teams because the top the top intermediate team is the team that's going to get promoted to Invite next season. So they're basically an Invite level team, like a low level Invite team. So like you can scrim against the first or maybe even second place team in intermediate and still have competitive games. And so it's a little bit of a blow to your ego to scrim against an intermediate team, but it's also like you want to scrim against a team that's like at your skill level. And so for us, we would scrim against the first place intermediate team or maybe like the other the lower level Invite teams. And the scrims are competitive, but then you'd show up in a match against Froyotech or Ascent or, you know, I mean, it's like you'd scrim against like a playoff Invite team and you just get rolled. And so that was really stressful too, because no one likes losing, because when you're playing an Invite, like everyone's very competitive, like they really want to win, right? So everyone's just yelling and you get into like these yelling matches and it's very like, like you got to do this differently and you got to do that. And everyone's pointing fingers and this and that. And you're trying to not stay toxic. You want to be as like nice as possible, and everyone's stressed out, and you just want to focus. You just want to focus and do well as a team. But you're gonna lose. You know, you already know going into that match that you're gonna lose. You're just hoping you can take 1 or 2 rounds, because that would be improvement. You know, that would be a milestone, some kind of marker that you're actually progressing. And yeah, just like it's a grind. It's definitely a grind to get there. And yeah, so the first part, again, that I knew that it was a grind and I wasn't willing to dedicate myself to it. And the second part was that like it's stressful and people are yelling at each other, and by the end of the season, like some people wanted to quit, you know? That's gonna happen. That's natural. Some people are gonna quit. What you want is like the core of your team to stay together. If you can get at least 3 people to stick around, you're already like in a very good position for next season. And I think we had like 3, maybe 4, but I wasn't gonna commit. But yeah, if you can get 4 people to stick around for next season, you're in really good shape. 3 is solid. 2 is like you're basically starting over. I think you need at least 2 people from the previous season to even keep your roster alive, because you can't just like start a brand new roster. You have to like keep people from the previous season to be considered the same team to keep your invite slot. So yeah, it's complicated, man. I would say that if I were to do it all over again, if I wanted to commit myself to it, I mean, you always start the season so fresh and like open-minded and like happy and optimistic, and then the end of the season you're just like battered and bruised and tired and just like ready to take the break. That's why the off season is so great, because I'm just like, I'm tired. I just want to like not play TF2 for a month. That sounds good to me. And like if you don't make playoffs, which half the teams in Invite don't, then you really get 2 months off, because it's a 2-month regular season, a 1-month playoff season, and then a 1-month off season. There's 3 seasons every year. So yeah, it's like 2 months of heavy playing, 1 month where you just watch playoffs, and if your team is lucky enough to stay together and stay alive, then you get to watch playoffs together and talk about it together and gossip. And then off season where you just chill out and play pugs, and then re-recruit for the following season.